Bhairava Kalike Namostute. Om Namo Bhairavaya Namo Namo. Om Namo Bhairavaya Swa. So, good morning, and we are back to yet another video. So today's subject that I've specifically decided to address today is on Bhairava as a path to Shiva versus other paths to Shiva, other forms of Shiva, be it the Kailasanathan, be it the form that is SADA SHIVA itself, where you go to the complete oneness with SADA SHIVA. Which path will be ideal for somebody based on your specific desires, and why are those desires already in you, and how those desires are a key marker in telling us what is a path that you are supposed to take. Why all of you are watching a channel that is practically from nowhere? What is the reason that some of you are getting right messages from certain inputs that is created by Prakriti? Please understand, be it internet, be it some of the podcasts, be it of social media, there are ways in which the Prakriti itself is communicating to many of us in ways that we did not envision is possible. And specifically, many of us who are not meant for certain path have been trying to chase down that path. However, we have been disassociating with the forms. So we are chasing after the form that is Sada Shiva while also having a goal to have a proper married life. We are also chasing after the state that is Sada Shiva, the state of Mahakala, who is practically inert and unmoving. However, we have serious goals in life, something as simple as a marriage, to a career, to properties and all that. Then how do you manifest that while going in the path chasing after Mahakala, or the state of Sadashiva, or Swachanda Bhairava, the highest state of in the Bhairava path itself? How do you manifest that? And what is the path that a young man should go? Why is it that some of the paths that he is trying to chase down will give him more pain as he tries to attain some of his desires, as opposed to the path of Bhairava, which is specifically breakdown of the design of the Prakriti itself? The creation is being broken down in such a way that, where in the last video I have spoken about 300 years crunched into 3 years. Why? And why that kind of a path will be the most ideal path for somebody with serious motives to do with the Prakriti itself. If you have a specific goal that is to do with your body itself, that is, let's take your career itself. You are alive, you are feeding your body, you have serious ambitions in your career itself. However, you have dharma here, you have the sense that there is a certain way to do things, such a way that you do not incur karma while doing it. But however, you find that you do not want to sit in a corner and be in a complete state of meditation. You do not want to go to an ashrama and sit down under a tree. Such a person by default is not thrown out of the path of Shiva. Please understand, he is meant to still come to the path of Shiva. However, his progress will be faster. Now you have detached from the stage of Sri Krishna and you're moving into the forest and sat down under the tree. However, there are still some small ambitions. You have already seated yourself at a perfect tangent wherein you now cannot say that I will no longer take care of my wife, or I am no longer interested in marriage, or I am no longer interested in progressing my bloodline. How do you say that when the urge is there? So instead of pretending that you do not have these urges wherein you want to progress your bloodline, by the way of kids, you want to progress in your career, but without incurring any kind of achievement, be it the kid or the career or the property, whatever it is, it will give karma. It is going to give you karma. But there is only one specific path within Shiva where karma itself can be negated to such an extent by none other than his own Guru Tattva, that is Bhairava. Now, understand why the form is the most important beginning to your path in sadhana itself. Why a deity like Batuka Bhairava, who just peers out of Shiva's third eye and immediately gives a lesson to the creator god Brahma, and therein categorically starts breaking down the design of Prakriti that is set down by Brahma. This deity will also accelerate your sadhana to such an extent that you will not have to sit and guess whether am I eligible for this path? Am I going in the right path? Is there something where I am doing wrong? Do not continuously have a lack of confidence where you continuously question yourself? I am chasing after this promotion, however, is that what I meant to do? Am I not supposed to sit in a corner and think of Shiva the whole day? So, understand the form. When you go to the path of Bhattaka Bhairava, you have already started the journey towards breaking down the elemental designs of the Prakriti. It has started. The main difference would be that, let us say Shiva at the state of unmoving, inert energy mass, the greatest, there is nothing bigger. He is just the biggest energy mass there is, and he is sitting in the corner in deep meditation. If that is the form that you are chasing after, you will find that you will not be able to find your chase after your Sati, because Shiva never chased after Ma Sati. And even when Ma Sati came for a specific purpose of wherein they had to elicit the Vidya from Shiva itself and then give us a Shakti Pidas and the greatest, if to me it is the greatest love story ever. It is a lesson in marriage itself, Mahadeva and Ma Sati. Your facet of the marriage itself will be very similar. You will not be able to, unless you seek deep purpose in a specific marriage, you will not be able to go into that path at all. If you are looking at Mahadeva and his the absolute form that Mahadeva is, because Mahadeva by himself never went after any, he refused to even realize that the Shakti within him also, he never sat and meditated on the Shakti, even though the Shakti was within him always. Shakti is within him always, it is not an external entity, it was always within him, so he was not specifically interested in finding a consort. He was never after a consort at all. So if your path is to Mahadeva, that specific form, then how do you intend to be able to find that a great partner when you're not, when the form itself doesn't allow it, when the form is in the deepest state of celibacy? However, you're going after that path, but your intention is to procreate and progress your bloodline. Is that not a difference in the form is now hitting your daily life? Your goals are different, however you're going after that form who realizes that Shakti is within, and why am I going to bring Shakti outside? Shakti is already within me. So when you have that kind of a mindset and then you're going behind a form like SADA SHIVA, Mahakala, you should understand that Shakti is already within him. He has no need for Shakti in an outward body. So this collapse will lead you to have a certain friction in the marriage process itself, because number one, if you are beginning to progress in the path of Sada Shiva, you will find the Shakti within and you will not want to embody that outside at all if you are truly moving. However, if you are not moving, then you will still be in the sadhana of Mahadeva, Sada Shiva, Mahakala. However, you will still want to look out for a partner. That means that elementally by default your path is the breakdown through the Brahma path itself, wherein now you have to take the lessons from Bhairava itself. You cannot sit under a corner and pretend that my path is Sadashiva, then you will have to embody him completely. You will have to wait for Sati to come into you and trigger those emotions into you, and then are you still ready to take her sacrifice? The pain is too much. How many of you can willingly realize that you are going to lose your wife and still be in love with her while you know that she is going to be brutally taken out of your life? That is a path of Sadashiva. There is so much pain that most of us will not be able to contain it, especially young men. This is where Bhairava, for whom Shakti is always with him in external in an external entity, is able to beautifully traverse that path. Bhairava as an entity itself is always in tune with his Shakti. He is the one who is able to move Shakti in his entire path. He is not away or apart from Shakti. He is within Shakti. Shakti and him are together. And he does not progressively say that I do not want to embody you right now. Please leave me alone. That kind of a mindset is not anywhere in the Bhairava path. He is full-fledged in love, very openly, outwardly, absolute love between Shiva Tattva and the Shakti Tattva is seen in Bhairava path. So somebody with a strong desire for marriage, somebody with a very strong desire for progressing the bloodline, Bhairava sadhana is the most apt path for you to the state of SADA SHIVA. Yes, that is where we are all going finally. Understand that. However, in marriage also there are specific things that will make you incur karma. The way you handle your daily life, the way you handle your in-laws, everything become a cluster ball of souls that are now hitting you. How do you handle that? If you're already in the path of Bhairava, let's say even before you choose your partner, or when you're choosing your partner, you're in the sadhana, or after you choose your partner, you're getting into the sadhana, he is the one who will give you that state of vairagya wherein you are able to break down why your in-laws are like this, talking to you in such a manner. How do you handle that situation? You will be under no circumstances where you'll be surprised on how to handle. You will not feel the urge to physically react against certain stimulus that might be thrown at you while you progress in your desires in life. So, sitting in a corner and assuming that your Ishta is the highest state of SADA SHIVA, however, you have not gone through and broken down the desires within you itself, because the form that you follow must embody your life itself. Please understand, the form that you follow, be it Sri Rama or be it Sri Krishna, Bhairava, or the state of SADA SHIVA itself, any of these deities, your life has to be modeled after them. When you say that my Ishta is Sri Rama, however, in my daily life, though I pray to him for 2 hours, in my daily life I embody none of his teachings, none of his lessons. There is absolutely no progress in your sadhana. Please understand that. Similarly, if you say that Mahakala, the one who is in the deepest state of meditation for eternity, if he is your form, but you're full of desires, you want to move, you want to conquer things, it will not work. You're having a systematic clash between the forms and you itself. So please realize that when you're full of desires, you're full of goals, you're full of urge to conquer things, understand that it is not wrong. You have been sent here. You have been given the body that can move around in this prakriti, the maya that is around. Why are you still having the body? So get out of this mindset where is it wrong to desire for things? No, it is not wrong to desire for things. There should be a limit. It should not be that you continuously feed your asuric tendencies within you and you start incurring karma. So that is why you place Bhairava at a state where he becomes a central guru in your path itself. Once he is the central guru in your path itself, his whole purpose of his existence, that Shiva bursted out as a guru, is to give you the systematic breakdown of Brahma's design. So which means that even in the married life, you will know how to live without incurring karma. You will know when to not be reactive, the state of Shiva Tattva within you. You will know when to move and just decimate everything in front of you. When to do that, that will be the Shakti Tattva within you. So Bhairava embodies both. So as Kali Yuga progresses, the path to Bhairava becomes the most potent, the most powerful path to the state of SADA SHIVA itself. He allows one to live a full-fledged, complete life. There is absolutely no unplugging yourself from life and then sitting in a corner, which is the Vedic path, or the path that Brahma by default had scripturized for someone to attain oneness with his higher self. That is the Bhairava within, the Shiva within. His path is, you will continuously note that anything, even the most adharmic thing that you might be thrown onto you, which is karmically meant for you, you will know how to beautifully exit from it in such a way that people around you will never be able to pinpoint and say that he was wrong at that time. The most painful moments of your life also, he will tell you how to handle it. You need to place him within your jiva as the guru. So Bhairava as a guru, it is not possible for everybody. Many of you will need to have a human guru. However, Bhairava as a path itself, the guru of moksha, the guru of the state of Kashi itself, gives you such immense knowledge in how to move around in your daily life that every desire, little by little, he is the one who will. So many of you ask me, how do you say that the asuric side should not be fed more than the deva within? Then how do I manage that? This is Bhairava. That is the exact point where Bhairava picks out. So anybody, if any asura that is that we have, let's say Ravana itself, he was the sadhaka of SADA SHIVA. So therein he refuses to place Shakti within, and he is continuously running after Shiva to such an extent, and his tapasvi sadhana was so strong that he became so powerful and kept on feeding the asura within. So Ravana keeps on feeding the asura within and goes to a state where he now has to be decimated by Dharma only, by Rudra only. There is no other way. So Bhairava, as the guru that has now come out, he will give you the ways to manage the most earthly things in such a beautiful manner that, taking my own example, there is nothing that I am not doing on a daily basis. There is a job, there are relatives, there is family, there is property, there are neighbors, there is traffic, everything. But he takes you to a state of higher self within yourself, wherein you are no longer a participant in it. You are in the driver's seat. That is the main thing about Bhairava. Bhairava allows you that state of mind where you are directly in connect with your highest self. That is, he allows you to talk to that, let's say I am here, he allows you to talk to that person that you are 300 years later. So if that 300 years later part of you is able to talk to this person, how much of inputs you will be able to get? So this is getting in touch with your higher self itself. That is what Bhairava gives you. He immediately elevates you to such an extent that 100, 200 years of breakdown happens and you are already at that state. This he gives you very fast. However, now the catch is that you cannot sit under a tree and pretend that everything is rosy. Because the path is the fastest path to realization. It is the fastest path to the state of Sadashiva. Then how will you sit in a corner when you have so much of unburnt karma? You have to go through it. However, in your married life, if marriage is a goal that you have specifically, please understand and realize that Shakti will be within you. And you will embody that in a person. That is Bhairava. Bhairava, the Shakti and the Sadashiva state, the Shiva Tattva and Shakti Tattva is within. However, when you find your partner, you will embody that within them. They will be a mirror. In every way, they will be your partner. In every way, see, the man who is not in touch with the state of Shiva, the Shiva Tattva within him, will always be at a tussle with the feminine part of Shakti. It is not that the higher you go, the Shakti that is your wife will also follow you to that extent. It is not that as she rises higher and higher, she mimics you and tries to match you. You should not look back at her and compete with her. This is where the collapse begins in the sadhana. Bhairava is somebody who realizes that higher Shakti rises, higher he rises. And higher he rises, Shakti will simply bring the femininity within him and keep it on par. So the Ardhanarishwara concept will always flow with you. Your job is to only look upwards towards the state of Sadashiva and keep on going, and he will keep on putting everything in your path, be it marriage. If marriage is there, it is not a competition. You do not even have to physically tell her anything. This sort of a state Bhairava will give you, wherein you only move towards the state of Sadashiva, go deeper and deeper in your sadhana, you will find that everything aligns. You need to let go of the fact that you do not need to physically control any aspect of your life once you are in the sadhana of Bhairava. This learning has to be taken within. You cannot say that, let's say you are a young guy somewhere in your early 20s and marriage is something you are very seriously interested in. Begin your sadhana as early as possible. Do not let urges take over when you find somebody who you want to spend your rest of your life with. It should not be based on urges. So your Mooladhara should not be misfiring to such an extent that you should be able to break down your urges. He will give you the ability to break down your urges and think from the depth of your higher self. When you're thinking from the depth of your higher self, you do not have to continuously question yourself as to am I doing it right? will this lead to a good peaceful marriage? Is this going to be something that will help my career? All these questions, you throw it on your sadhana and you keep on going in your path. Bhairava gives you that ability because the Shakti is very much within, and it is an active Shakti, whereas the state of SADA SHIVA, where he refuses to move around, he is in the deepest state of meditation. You will find that these desires, when you club, he will always be non-reactive. Shiva as a state is an extreme state of non-reaction. So even in let's say you are deepest in your career right now, there is an issue with your boss, you do not know how to handle it. The path of Shiva itself dictates that you will be non-reactive. You will burn there, sit there, and you will majorly not react to anything and let karma take its course. However, in Bhairava, you will find that you will still be non-reactive, but you will also find that you, in non-reaction itself, how to enable yourself to be protected from anything that is thrown on you. That level of non-reaction will be attained in Bhairava very fast. So to such an extent that you will be able to bell your worst enemy very easily. Because Bhairava, specifically if you say that if everything is a double-edged sword, so if you are non-reactive, however the person who is trying to hurt you has hurt you to such an extent that there is a karma now for revenge itself, that is also dharma. If somebody has been wrong, you have to take illicit revenge from them. You cannot be non-reactive and say God will take care all the time, right? So how do you do it without incurring further karma? It will happen in such a smooth way that your enemy will realize it is you who has done it. However, he will not find the ability to respond and he will also just walk away. However, that path itself would have been shown by Bhairava by placing him. Please realize, bring Bhairava here to such an extent, put all your effort before the urge to physically react, you should put all that effort into sadhana. When trouble comes, triple your sadhana. Do 3 times, do 10 times of what you do daily and be non-reactive. You will find that your mind begins to open up to such an extent that you will start talking to Bhairava within you, and that will elevate you to a higher level, and you will be talking to yourself like you are 300 years later, which is nothing but your higher self that is already there. There is nothing that is going to, till you are in the body, the moment the path has opened towards your higher self itself, you are already operating at the 300 year plus of experience is already inside you now. It is not like you reach a stage where you cross X number of mantras, only then it starts and you are at a state. No, the moment it starts itself, you will, by elementally, you will find breakdown in everything that is happening around you. You will be able to pinpoint and realize why this is happening and what is the correlation, why this person is talking to me like this, what is the correlation. And you have to go within. The lesser and lesser you physically react. See, Shiva Tattva is physically non-reactive. Your first urge is not to open your mouth and throw out all your prana that you have been holding within. Take everything inside, observe to such an extent, you will find certain ideas sort of pop up, and that is your higher self trying to tell you what to do. Every time you make your lower self, that is your physical being, react to a stimulus that has been thrown at you, job, career, whatever it is, you will find that you are going lower in your sadhana. So sadhana is not just about mantras. The mantra is bringing the deity inside you within. Now how to operate with the deity, that is Shakti. The Shakti is now within you. Bhairava is Shakti, Shiva and Shakti together. He is Ardhanarishwara, that is moving. That is Bhairava. You cannot be non-reactive to the external stimulus itself. So let me tell you why many people will find it very difficult to go in the path of SADA SHIVA going forward, especially with the amount of pressures that are on us, the amount of daily life, sansaric life that is all around us. You will not be able to detach yourself and behave like you are a monk while giving up on everything, while the desires are deep inside and it comes back after 10, 15 years, 20 years, breaking down your sadhana completely. That is a step backwards. So please understand, not everybody is in this Kali Yuga eligible to go to the path of SADA SHIVA by embodying him itself, because he is absolutely non-reactive. But you are placed in a specific place wherein you have to react. That is why you are in the path of Bhairava, because you need to react. And how do you react? If a specific goal that you have to feed your family has been thrown at you, how do you go through that without earning karma? That only Bhairava gives you. Inside that path wherein you have to feed your family also, you will keep on elevating yourself to a state where continuously you will find progress in your life. So I was guiding somebody and they wanted guidance on the state of SADA SHIVA, and okay, I gave them the Panchakshari. Please understand, this is a story that I'll have to say before. Taking a mantra from somebody and taking a mantra from the internet, there is a difference. There is definitely a difference. When the time is right, your guru will come to you. That is a very important thing that you need to understand. For that, we'll talk about a small story where Narada Muni goes to Mahavishnu itself, and Mahavishnu advises him, go to the specific tree. On that there is a parrot who's sitting. Go to that parrot and tell him to do Ramanama Japa. Narada is very happy. His dearest Narayana has given him an instruction and he happily goes. And he goes to the parrot. Hey parrot, do Ramanama Japa. He whispers in his ears and he moves back. Immediately to his shock, the parrot looks at him and falls down, dead. Narada is totally upset. What has this bird done to me that I have given him my Lord's name itself? However, it has led to his death. What sort of task has he given me? However, it is him and I cannot question him. And he walks off. On another day, he walks back to Vaikuntha and Narayana says the same thing. You go, there is a Gaushala here, and in the Gaushala there is a newly born calf. Tell the calf to Ramanama Japa. So again Narada goes. This time he's a little scared and he's thinking, is it wise to give this advice? But just because Narayana said I have to do it, then he goes near the calf, tells him do Ramanama Japa in his ears. And again the calf looks at him for a minute, a lot of love, and falls down dead. Now he's really upset because this is absolutely inauspicious. How can birth of a calf is considered the highest level of auspiciousness, but the calf has died. Now what do I do? He still doesn't question Narayana. He goes back. On another visit, Narayana again calls him and says, you go now to this very powerful king's palace, and in that palace, you go tell the newly born prince, a small boy who was born some time back, he's playing there, you go tell him to do Ramanama Japa. This time Narada Muni is really worried. I have to go to this palace, and I have to go to the king who's extremely powerful. He has one of the biggest armies in the world, and I have to go tell his son to do Ramanama Japa. So the advice is very pure, and I also realize the Shakti of Ramanama. However, how do I do this? But Narayana has said this, he's his Ishta, he's his main guru. So he walks towards the palace, and he finally goes inside and he gives them the prince. He finds the prince, and in a lot of physical consternity, he walks up to him and tells him, do Ramanama Japa in his ears. The prince looks at Narada and says, hey Guru, you have been so kind that when I was born as a mere bird, you came to me and gave him the Upadesha, and I died immediately and attained moksha from that birth and got a higher birth. I became a very divine birth, that is the calf, a newly born calf, and I spread absolute knowledge to that place. However, my death had caused inauspicious in that house, but I was liberated, and then I got such a birth wherein now I am the prince of one of the greatest kings, and I will also become the king. Thank you for this Upadesha and coming towards me Janma after Janma and giving me liberation when I have not even quested or searched for you, and in this life I am just a boy, still you gave me the Upadesha. Thank you. And that is when he realizes the message in this is that taking a mantra from the internet, yes, it will be effective. But the Manasik Guru, when you take a very normal, the most commonly used Panchakshari mantra from the internet will give you a lot of benefits. However, the same thing from a very powerful Guru, when uttered to you, it will be completely empowered but with the sadhana that he has put last 1,000 years in his various forms. It will be empowered. So, somebody had walked up to me and he had asked for a Panchakshari Upadesha, and I gave it to him. I told him, yeah, you do it. This is how you hold the mala and all that basic. Somebody who's not from our general podcast kind of background, when they come to me and they are very open. I like to give up Upadesha to such people. I really look forward to such things. So I gave it to him. However, his mind was completely stuck on the Jyotirlingas, and he wanted to go in the path of SADA SHIVA. However, critically there are, after a conversation of half an hour to 1 hour with him, I realized that there are multiple karmic events on him which will completely restrict him from the path of Shiva, and which is also why he has come to me. If you're talking to me, by default, without any doubt, your actual path is the Bhairava path. But you're talking about Shiva, it is right. You are already talking about end goal. However, the path will be through Bhairava. So it was a small, a few days worth of Sankalpa. He took around 11 days. And he was doing it on the 10th day. He was standing in a tea shop. Somebody from his old contact suddenly walked up to him, and this guy likes to put effort into the gym and all that. However, when this guy spoke to him, he spoke about his body. Why have you, are you not focusing on your body anymore? See, you are losing your muscles and all this. What is this? Wherein this is none other than, this is a nimitta being thrown on him, wherein he is being questioned. Have you really come to such an extent that you can now say that you do not associate with the body anymore? Have you come to that state? This is a question being thrown to him by the Prakriti. That is why the person who is from his old times has come back to check on him whether he has really overcome the desires. When you say that you are worried about how your body looks, how do you say you are going towards Shiva, who has nothing to do with how you look? The entire Devaloka talks about Shiva being unbecoming or unfitting, or lack of, he doesn't conform to the standards of the Devaloka, wherein they're all Alankrit and he is not caring about all that. He just puts bhasma on him and sits in a corner. He does not get into that. Then if you want to go to that path, why you're not sitting like that? That is a question being raised to my Shishya, who is temporarily taking Upadesha from me now. So he goes deep into this thought, yes, I am not taking care of my body. Now this is the last day of Sankalpa, one more day is left for him. He has been thrown into this deep thought process where now he is not able to recognize whether he should work on his body or he should work on his spirituality. It's the right way to think about it, because your body is still around. To go to the path of Shiva, you have come to a state where you realize that you're temporarily wearing the skin. You're temporarily wearing the skin. There is a higher birth that is waiting for you very soon, and even from there, if you progress, you're attaining oneness with Shiva itself. You're living and breathing as a consciousness of Shiva itself. So this very, very important trigger has been created in this man in the last day of his Sankalpa. And that day he struggled to do his mala, but he finished it. And then he came back to me, asked, what is the reason why I struggled like that? In the Sankalpa, I had also added to him, which is something I always do. Even if you come for any deity, you ask me for Upadesha, I will add Kala Bhairava Ashtakam, because I know the fact that you came to me by default means that your path will be Bhairava's path. Otherwise, there is no way you will talk to me. You will not talk to me. And I will specifically be able to find out very easily, because there is somebody who is spending 2 hours in the gym, who is very much concerned about how he looks, should also take care of how he looks, because that desire is still there to look good. However, if you say your path is the direct path, the final path of Shiva, then you will no longer be able to even think of what you look like. You will look like absolutely non-conforming to the societal standards of good looks. You will not be bothered about walking into an office with a combed hair and well-cut, trimmed beard. You will not be interested in that. To traverse through that, but you're born into this path, you're born into a specific setup, that means you need to go through that journey. When you need to go through that journey, but you want to go to the state of Shiva, you have to accept that you might have to trim your hair, you might have to take care of your body, because you still want to look good, you still care about how people talk about you. Did Shiva care about that? Even when his own in-laws do not respect him, did Shiva care about that? So that state of SADA SHIVA state that you're looking at, but also being worried about how I look, is it wrong? Is it wrong to worry about how you look? It is not. Don't be in a continuous state wherein I am worried about how I look, I am worried about my hair, I am worried about how I look when I walk on the street, how my neighbor looks at that. It is not wrong. You are in the body. Stop self-demotivating your birth itself. You have been given a specific birth, you are born into a specific house, you are born into a specific arrangement, you have been put into a specific career, which does not allow you to walk into the smashana and sit every day night, take the ashes from the burnt bodies and smear it on yourself. You are not able to do that. Then what will you do? Bhairava. Elemental breakdown of design of Brahma itself, he tells you, you don't have to do that. I will give you the smashana wherever you walk. Every one of your desires I will place on the smashana as you and me walk together. Come and I have removed Brahma's ignorance itself. What is your ignorance? Nothing. Come with me. So that is the path of Bhairava. So even though I gave the Upadesha for the state of SADA SHIVA, and he was progressing immensely, I gave him he took a sankalpa of a very small amount of mala because he did not know if the person I was guiding we have to take care of people's privacies also, so let's not go too deep. So, but it is a learning for many of you. He said that he will do a very small number of malas. However, the urge by the day 2, day 3 became so much that sankalpa X mala he was doing into 10, into 100 he started hitting, to such an extent that I knew this is okay. He is being empowered to a state where very soon he will walk into the path that I want him to walk, because it does not take me a lot of time to understand that many of us are still holding dreams and goals and desires to do with the body, and it is not wrong. This learning, please take it into your head. You have the body, you will have the desire. The desire should not consume you to such an extent that you get destroyed by the Prakriti itself. That is what it is. Even if you forget, Bhairava will take your head one day and make you sit, unplug you. However, to not get unplugged, to not get uprooted from your life in such a way, keep him here all the time within you. Become the Bhairava Tattva itself. All the messages on how to live life has been given by Sri Krishna already. Just listen to his stories, you will get the messages. Don't just listen. However, Bhairava is the one that will tell you continuously that you do not walk out of the life and pretend to be something else. When let's going back to our example, when the person is able to put 2 to 3 hours in the gym, I gave him an Upadesha where he had to sit down for 2 to 3 hours for sadhana. So I already knew while I met him itself, by seeing the body type itself, I can very easily guess where is his focus. You can see by the way somebody combs their hair, the way that somebody talks, the way that somebody carries themselves, how much he is worried about the image of that his body is. It is very easy for me. Very easy. It is something, the blessings of the deities that I keep, the Digambara within you will show very easily what is it that you care about, how do people look at you, how do people analyze you, what is the projection you give to the outside world. All this is very easy for me to analyze. So it was very easy, and I knew that the body is being kept at a very high state, whereas the deity that is chasing is absolutely uncaring of the body. Now that hit has already taken place. By the 10th day, realization, somebody in person had walked into him and done what I had wanted to do, because why should I? Prakriti will talk to you. I walked up to him and told, hey, what is this? You were such a fitness oriented guy, huh? You're sitting with, what happened? Your muscles are not looking very strong. Go back to the gym. What are you doing? That is Bhairava operating in the Prakriti. Who will stop him? Nobody can stop Bhairava, please understand. Once you call upon the name of Shiva and you go through Bhairava, continuously he will break down Brahma's design. Hey, move, let me give him a message. Move, let me give him a message. Okay, there is a problem in the traffic. Through traffic, you will get a message. Continuously Bhairava talks. People who say Bhairava doesn't talk are very, 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 very unfit to be his gurus. Let me tell you, gurus who say Bhairava doesn't talk, I am always very sad on that. Anyway, let's not hurt anybody's sentiments. So now the gym aspect of him has to now move towards this state wherein to go towards Shiva, why are you celebrating the body? Why do you celebrate the body when you are saying that Shiva, who smears himself with the bhasma of the burnt bodies, is that not a clash in the forms? So aren't you going after the form that you are not ready for? That is Bhairava. This realization, and also the form that any one of us today in a physical body, born into a city or a culture wherein you have to fend for yourself through the designs of Brahma, Bhairava is the path. Shiva, SADA SHIVA state is for somebody who will unplug, put bhasma and go sit in a corner and pretend that the world has ceased to exist. That you will have to do for 1,000 years in different births. You will continuously do it. Even then, if karma is there, you will be born in a setup wherein you will burn that a little and again you will go and sit. But some of us have good desires. We want the car, we want the house, we want to manifest things around in our life, we want glory, we want people to clap, we want people to look up to us. All this is there, and however we say that SADA SHIVA is the form that I want, then yes, you can. However, it does not mean that you sit in the smashana. Bhairava will bring the smashana to you. The art of burning on the funeral pyre while unplugging from it, while also burning your desires, achieving everything that you desired for, but without allowing it to be an asuric trend wherein you get destroyed eventually. That is Bhairava. That art, that beautiful feeling where you are able to keep the asura and the deva within working together. That is Bhairava. So this person now, 100%, he is absolutely meant for Bhairava. So what Bhairava will do is that in my own vision, somebody like that, over the next 1.5 years, 2 years, he will slowly, that need for the body will slowly reduce. The need for the body to look X, the need for the body to look like that, the need for the society to look at him will start little by little. That Vairagya, once it sets in, he will realize the body is temporary and he is already connected to his higher self, the birth that he is supposed to be at 300 years later. So compressing that simply means that if you're going to be around in a non-physical being or in a physical being after 300 years, you're already in touch with that mind. That 300 years of knowledge is compressed and thrown onto you by Bhairava in 2 to 3 years. That is Bhairava. You're accelerating to such an extent that everything is now turned inwards towards you. Everything. If I'm going in a traffic jam, I'm stuck there. Understand that I'm stuck there because there is something he's protecting me from. If I reach somewhere early, something else is going to go wrong. Everything. You should put yourself into such a state wherein anything and everything happening around you, you should realize that it is being put by him. If somebody talks to you, okay, why is this person talking? There is something inside that. He will continuously trigger you to such an extent, and this state will take time. This state will take time. It will take 2 to 3 years of intense japa, because you are trying to compress 300 years into it. But if you pretend to be in the path of SADA SHIVA, wherein your desires are still there, you will find that constantly you are being thrown out. Constantly you find yourself unable to go on. You will find issues with your how you handle marriage itself, because Shiva is so non-reactive that those Shaktis within him, he has no need to elicit Shakti in a separate form. However, when in the state of marriage, you're bringing Shakti out and giving her a feminine form. And Shakti will only stay with you and in a harmonious marriage as long as the Shiva Tattva keeps on growing. You don't look back at her and wonder what she is doing. Never. Shiva keeps on going higher and Shakti continuously embodies him and keeps on following. So the energy mass is still Shiva and the Shakti is derived from the energy. So your wife is you. Please understand. In the path of Bhairava, the wife that you have given a physical manifestation and married is you. So young men should not hurry into getting married, especially if you have understood and you're watching these videos. Understand that take very strong sankalpas for 6 months, a year, and also continuously meet people, more people you continue to meet. Let him give you the inputs. You'll understand who is right, who is wrong. He will move the power center from your physical urges to here. So you will be able to find the right Shakti. I started my sadhana around 24 is the age, and I had left my home. It was because of a dog. At the age of 24, I had brought home a dog, and my family had refused to let the dog be there. So I asked him for a couple of months' time and took a house and moved out with the dog. And for a long time in my life, me and the dog were living alone in that house. Nothing was there, only one chair, and there was one huge window that used to overlook water body, and I used to simply sit there. So that is how Bhairava took me out of the life, and only after that I was able to meet my wife. And I am telling you today, if I had not gotten unplugged from that physical state of being, that comfort, I would not have found this wife and the person that I married, who embodies so perfectly my spiritual journey. And anything and everything I desire, you will find that I can manifest in her so beautifully, and she also is at a state of bliss. So don't hurry into marriage. Don't hurry into marriage without taking deep sankalpas, especially if you desire that you need to crush and bring in 300 years of progress into 3 years. Please do it. Please start with sadhana. Do not be like, you do not ignore the small inputs that he continuously gives you. He is always talking to you. You realize that the person is not right for you. Learn to shed it like you are burning it in the smashana. and the right people will come to you. The desperation that you carry is going to work against you. It's your body talking and trying to control the jiva versus the jiva controlling the body. This is the highest state of Bhairava. Your jiva, which is going to be around even 300 years later, has already touched the higher self. However, the body is still at this in 2024. And the body sitting at 2024, somewhere around 300 years later, which is jiva has now touched that higher self, you're continuously putting this today's technology, today's learning, today's news, and all you're putting onto the jiva and trying to compress it. Today, what do you know in this body? You know only what you've experienced in this body. But when you try to push this body's knowledge onto the jiva, which is already touching the higher self, that is something that you will be after 300 years. Please understand what is Bhairava sadhana. 300 years crushed into 3 years. Your body has already also only operating on the knowledge that you have acquired through the body in the last 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. You, however, are touching on a piece of knowledge that your jiva will be at after 300 years. You are trying to override that. So listen to your own thoughts, listen to your own deep inputs that Bhairava gives you continuously. That is all waste for you to cut down karma and move forward. The right people will come to you. However, stop reacting to everything that comes to you. Do not blindly take it. Be ready to shed things. In Bhairava path, you will have to shed things. A Shakti will be manifested in a physical form. If it is for a man, if it is a wife that he has to attain, she will come. However, just because there is somebody already in your life, do not assume that this is the person. Go into a state of Vairagya and you realize who is the right people for you. They will come to you in your life. However, if you look at the path of Shiva, you will find that continuously he is not ready to move around in any way. He does not wholeheartedly go behind Sati. He puts everything to test to such an extent that he does not want to move. So if your form is Shiva, but you're worried about how you look, you're worried about your marriage, you are thinking of on your marriage, you are thinking on I want to have a nice family life with a wife, kids, bungalows and all that, then that is not Shiva. You're still having those desires and it is not wrong. That is the point. It is not wrong to desire because the body is still around. If the body is about to go off, then what is the point of desires? That is just a madness. You're young and your body is still around. You're 22, you're 25. Your body is around. Stop trying to pretend to be Shiva while having the desires for a bungalow. Place Bhairava. That is where Bhairava sadhana comes into play. Shiva sadhana that we are talking about, the Kailasanathan, that form, the Parvati Patiye, the male consort of Devi Parvati, if that is the form that you are looking after, please look at how Mata Parvati comes to Shiva. He is again non-reactive. It is Ma Sati who has emulated herself for a divine purpose. She comes back in a different form, and then Ma Parvati has to go through intense tapasya. Finally, she comes to Shiva. So if you are going in the path of Shiva, you cannot specifically quest after these sort of things, but your whole goal will be higher consciousness only. Ma Parvati will again and again come to you. Then you will have to realize. So please stop thinking these are some esoteric stories wherein you do not get the actual crux of it. Okay, Shiva and you are not separate. You are the embodiment of Shiva right now. In the sadhana, you are embodiment of Shiva. You have to react how he would react. You have to tell yourself that you are Bhairava. You have to tell yourself that you are Shri Krishna in this path. Sadhana is when you talk, walk, think, breathe as a deity. So if your Ishta is Mahadeva sitting on Kailasha with Ma Parvati, you will have to go by that route. You cannot specifically go in search of Ma Parvati. So the desire for marriage, how do you plan it then? Whereas Bhairava as a path is always with the Shakti. There is no questing after Shakti, there is no search of Shakti. They are together always, they are already together. So, any desire for marriage, please understand why Bhairava sadhana will just throw you in such with exceptional speed, especially Vattuka Bhairava, full of Ugra prana. Ugra young prana, he has not yet sat down, he is running, still running, everything he will attain. So that is why you should understand, first you realize who you are. So, which form of Shiva? I will always tell you, if you are somewhere in the city side, tier 2 city, tier 3 city also, and you have a goal, you have running after some exams, government exams, you are running after degrees, you want name, you want fame, 101% the form of Shiva, but Shiva is your Ishta, Bhairava is the one who will take you there. He will not say that come after 300 years. You finish all the desires, keep calling my name, but come out of it. No. Finish everything now. I will tell you how. I will tell you how. That is how he is. So the person who came to me for Upadesha, very easily I knew that he is running after Shiva too. He has gone to every Jyotirlinga. Everywhere he is going. Forest, if there is a linga, he is going. But he is not able to give up the gym. That urge is there within him. So, whichever form of Shiva that you are going after, you need to embody that from day one of the sadhana itself. So, Bhairava embodies complete grandeur. For Swarnakrishna Bhairava, what is Swarnakrishna Bhairava? Somebody had asked. It's not just to pull gold, it is to pull everything that you lack. I will be posting a mantra on my Facebook page. Some of you are not on Facebook. I will copy paste that onto my YouTube page also. The Swarnakrishna mantra of Bhairava, that has to be recited 11,000 times. So split it into how many ever days you want. How many ever days you want. It can be you finish it in 1 day. You want to finish it in 11 days. You want to finish it in 1100 days. Up to you. If you are in the Sankalpa, keep all other desires aside and completely focus on him. Have only 1 meal per day. Any health issues, please plan accordingly. That mantra I will be posting on my Facebook wall. So which form of Shiva do you go? You go to that form of Shiva which represents all your desires. You need to stop pretending like one day I will reach that state wherein I will be unmoving like Shiva. Today, you are doing sadhana today. Become like him today. The day you keep the first step itself, you start with the sadhana. This mindset wherein one day I will reach oneness with him, that will not help you. In the highest state of SADA SHIVA, you will find that he always has a tendency to go deeper within himself, non-reactive. This is something you will have to embody in his path also, because so when somebody walks up to me and talks about I want to be one with Shiva, I will always add a Kala Bhairava Ashtakam also with his daily Sankalpa. That is a compulsory thing I'll do. And you know why I'll do that? I'll do that because he realizes that Bhairava will continuously show him some of his desires. He sent a person, he sent people in front of my Shishyas that I'm guiding. And they will trigger that specific things which I already know that this person is. By the body you can analyze, I have been mad about gym for so many years. So I know when I see a body, specific muscles are developed more, you already know that this person is completely in love with his physical body, and it is not wrong. Why is it wrong? For a young man to fall in love with his body, for a young woman to feel when she looks into the mirror, she likes herself, it is good. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. The fact that you think that it is wrong to desire your physical body while you are also envisioning Shiva, that is a mismatch of the form in your life. So go after the right form, go after it wholeheartedly. Increase, if you're saying that you want to go for gym for 2 hours, then increase your sadhana also for 2 hours. You will find little by little this is going down. It will come to a state where your body is very fit and you are very happy, but however you are unattached to it. That state has to be reached. So every desire, burn it and only go higher. Don't go around Shiva, but I want to work on my body also. You will find people who are chasing after that perfect physical body, while they say their Ishta is the SADA SHIVA that sits in Mahakala, that sits in the most deepest form of meditation. So a great cricketer who was on a specific diet that was specifically giving him the exceptional performance, he comes to a state wherein you will very soon realize who that great cricketer is. That diet is causing him health issues, because of which his game starts getting hit, and finally he comes to the path of Mahakala. When he comes to the path of Mahakal, his diet changes, everything changes, because now spirituality takes the higher hand and he has to retire. He is not interested in continuing after 30s. 30 to 33, he wants to retire. The desires are all done. Bhairava was always with him. He was already guiding him. So finish your desires before you come into the path of SADA SHIVA. Bhairava path is towards SADA SHIVA. You already started walking. From day one itself, you are walking towards him. However, please understand, now you are in a coaching center. All your desires also will get burnt. Don't get into this pretentiousness where you feel that your desires are bad. You desire to have a good life, take it. Full-fledged, take it. You desire to have a very good partner, take it. You desire to have a very good career, take it. What is the use in taking a birth in a specific arrangement and pretending that I am in a smashana already without burning anything? If you want to go to the Smashana, what happens in the Smashana? You have to burn. So that is why any and every desire can be attained with Bhairava, while keeping karma at bay. You are not incurring karma at all. Once you progress in the path of Bhairava, you are not incurring karma, because it is not possible. Because the SADA SHIVA is also here. While Bhairava is moving you around with Shakti, everything you are hitting all tick boxes. Karma you will not incur because you are majorly non-reactive. Whatever is thrown at you, you will not react. Then how will you incur karma? So this beautiful way of living life, burning all your desires, feeding the right side, Deva and Asura together, that Bhairava gives you. And how do you take care of your Asuric side, not going to such an extent that you have now become the biggest, and one day your head only has to be cut off for you to take rebirth and come back again in a very pious life. How do you do that? Just simply learn the lessons of Sri Krishna. That is it. So for young men, do not rush into your careers, do not rush into a marriage. Keep sadhana as the first thing that will give you grounding, it will give you identity. Once you have taken sadhana, what does sadhana do to you? Bhairava sadhana does only one thing to you. You are sitting here, you and your jiva are presently here. Your body will still be here. That is the ego. When I say you, this is the ego and the jiva. Both of you are here. When you start the sadhana, the jiva goes 300 years advance. So the jiva that is already touched here now should be allowed to control your body, which is only having 20 years experience. Now tell me, 20 years experience ka body you listen, or will you listen to the jiva that is already touched to the higher self? And there is it is not a graduation ceremony where you suddenly wake up and realize that, okay, now I am graduated. Okay, today I am my Bhairava. You were always Bhairava from the day you started. The journey has started. By 1.5 years, you will find that it is extremely there in your head to such an extent that everything, you look back 1.5 years later, everything will feel like a fuzz, because your higher self has already been touched. Higher self is not a goal, higher self is a path. Some of you will immediately progress 100 years in advance. Your jiva is already 100 years away. It has reached that point, so just let the body flow. Some of us would have reached 1008 years, are in the last 1 or 2 births. They are at such a state where they will be able to give upadeshas, they will be able to look at somebody and understand, because he was also running after gym one day. The person that's already hit 1008 years worth of the higher self, and the body is still here at 30 years of age, don't you think that this jiva is already aware of what happens and what sort of desires used to be there in his past? The desire for gold, the desire for partners, the desire for bodily pleasures, everything is aware. That is the guru. So that is why when Narada Muni gives the upadesha to a parrot, the parrot immediately takes the higher birth, because the guru that is already, whose jiva is already at 1008 years, is talking in a 30-year-old body. But the body is also listening to the jiva that is 1008 years old. That is why you find some young people who embody such exceptional enlightenment. How this guy is not even having grey hair, but he's talking things that even my grandmother might not understand. How? Because the body is young. He's come back for a specific reason. The body is young, but the jiva is talking to the higher self. Talk to your higher self. By the day 1 itself, every day you're progressing. Bhairava sadhana for 1 year is equal to 100 years of progress. So if I say that you're sincerely done Bhairava sadhana for a year, I will say that your body is 25 years old. However, your jiva that you're placing very comfortably inside that body is 100 years elder to you. Okay? So if you put 2 years, now your jiva is 200 years elder to you. If you put 3 years, it is 300. If you put 10 years, it is 1000. If you put more than 10, plus 4, after 10 it is only 4 years that you can advance. Last 2 years only advance 4 years. I'm talking about Bhairava sadhana. I'm not talking about people who just newly jumped into Bhairava sadhana and their ishtas were somebody else, some other forms. Then their association also will be like the other form. Bhairava, if that is the form that you have been running after, please understand, he will break down the design. Your body is the design of Brahma. And now your body is connected to the higher, this one, and he's breaking it down. Ye kya hai? 300 years, break it down, give him in 3 years. I will do it. That's what Brahma, if you dare to protest, I'll take off your other heads also. Learn what is Bhairava. Bhairava is not your regular, I go to a temple, sit down and pray, only then I'll get, no, he puts that entire 1000 years into your head, breaks open this of your head and just dumps everything into your head, and You need to listen to your jiva. By year, 100 years. By second year, 200 years. By third year, 300 years. By 10th year, 1000 years. By 11th year, 1004. By 12th year, 1008 years. The jiva hits. By the 10th year, you are at a state where you look at people and you know what is their karma, who you see. The next 10 days of my Upadesha, what he will face. It's so easy. But then, many of us do sadhana and still listen to the 20-year-old body. So the body says that he sees a partner and he feels certain urges. He listens to the urges. Why are you listening to that urge? You don't choose the partner by the urge, because your journey is, you want to go 1008 years. This jiva that has finally entered into the human body, 1000 years, khatam karna hai. Khatam karna hai, to listen to the jiva that is elder to you. You're listening to the body. The body feels the urge to immediately run after your boss and fall on his feet. Arey boss, give me promotion. The jiva says, the boss is here. I am already 100 years away. I have put 1 year of Bhairava sadhana. I am 100 years above. The boss is just a 40-year-old person. Why am I going to fall on his feet? I know where the boss will be after 100 years. Soak this information a little bit. So what Bhairava sadhana does is, it opens your higher self. 1 year equal to 100 years. 2 years, 200 years, roughly, if you're doing it well. When I say 1 year, it should not be from your calendar, okay, I've started on August 15th of 2023. Now, sincere sadhana where Bhairava is kept at the highest. Talking about that. Bhairava will then open up based on your specific body's ability. He will open up your Shakti. So it might not be Kali. Kali will be in the last 2 years. Kali will be in the last 2 years. Kali cannot be envisioned otherwise. If you cannot look at your mother, if you cannot look at your father, your sister, brother, your neighbor, everybody is walking, breathing, body sacs of skin, flesh, bones, blood, and you realize that just a jiva walking around thinking it is that name, that state of realization, when you're seeing your own father like that, that level of realization comes with Kali. So basically Bhairava shows you the path to your higher self, towards higher self, nothing but your path to SADA SHIVA, but the Kali, the Shakti that is Kama, Kali is already within Shiva. She is the Kundalini Shakti of Shiva itself. So don't hurry into her sadhana, but completely, with all respects, keep on calling her, recite the stava, and she will give you higher and higher and higher and faster and faster and faster growth. So the Guru, Bhairava, Ma Kali within, as soon as you touch on the state of Ma Kali, if you're somebody in very deep states with Ma Kali, please realize that very soon the state of Sada Shiva is about to open up to you. Wherein you can be non-reactive, you can be under a tree, life is just running around you. You realize that you do not have to act. You realize that people are in front of you, they do not look at you also. They'll not be able to focus you. You will walk around like a monk in your office and they'll still not remember. Is it? He put bhasma on his face. I don't remember seeing him. That sort of things have happened. Can you describe this person? I am somebody who's at their last few lives, and they are in the state of Sada Shiva, finally in the last 2 years of their sadhana itself, of Bhairava, will be at a state wherein people might not even be able to describe him properly. He might appear different to everybody. Everybody who looks at him, some will see him with very neat hair, but he must be having very curly, uncombed hair. So this sort of things are happening. It happens. You need to believe, absolutely believe, that 1 day of the body into 100 for the jiva. Do it sincerely. Do Bhairava sadhana sincerely. If you feel that you want to get married to a specific person, increase your sadhana. Take a sankalpa with the decision that Bhairava, Papa, tell me, is that person right for me? So that my body doesn't tell me she's right for me or he is right for me. My body, I don't want my body to say, body is just 20 years old. I don't want the body to say. Body is too small. Body is young. Body is a baby. I want you to say, connect me to the higher self that I am after 300 years, so that me will give me the answer. So what is Bhairava sadhana? Accelerating your jiva across births and connecting to that self which might come here after 300 years. That jiva realizes, looks down at the body and says, hey body, don't do all this, so that we don't disturb our progress. Do all ये सब कर, वो सब मत कर. Listen to that. That is the Jiva connecting to Bhairava properly. That Jiva has already understood and realized Bhairava. He is one with Bhairava. So 1 year of sincere Bhairava sadhana, 100 years of progress for the Jiva. 2, 200, 3, 300, 10, 1000, 11, 1004, 12, 1008. Done. More or less done. The last 8 would be none other than the state of SADA SHIVA itself, where you are just you are an image. People cannot really make out what you are. You will walk around because Brahma's design has completely collapsed around you. Devaloka fears you and respects you now. You are able to elicit the Shaktis that are around in the Prakriti itself. That sort of a state you will reach. So, don't let your body decide who your partner is. Don't let your body decide how you handle people around you. Let the Jiva decide. Bhairava sadhana mein ho. Please realize the Jiva has already touched a higher state. You stop trying to tell your Jiva. Let the Jiva tell you. How? Get into deeper states of meditation. Get into deeper states of meditation. Focus on the mantra to such an extent that the mantra is now embodying you to such an extent that you know that you are getting inputs. You are the one who's stopping the inputs. You are the one who's not listening to the inputs. Get out of that state. So, the form that you pray to, you need to embody the form from day one. If it is Sri Rama, that is your Ishta, you need to live like him. If it is Sri Krishna, you need to live like him. If it is Bhairava, you need to live like him. If it is SADA SHIVA sitting in full of bhasma, sitting in a corner on the most unreachable mountain tops, you have to live like him. So, if Bhairava is your Ishta, Bhattuka Bhairava is your Ishta, get out and conquer everything. He will keep on progressing your Jiva and you have to listen to the Jiva. Answers come from within. When the Guru is coming to you finally, take the Upadesha. Until then, keep on going. So, anyway, I am also personally, I want to tell you guys something that is very important, that I believe that most of you have been making this mistake. So, somewhere I like to sit in meditation where I get my best inputs from Baba. That is a very special place for me. There, I noticed that one day, out of nowhere, a dead lizard was lying out on the floor. And I was very surprised because we don't use any chemicals, anything at all. Very young lizard, but is lying upside down like this. Like it's been nothing, just lying dead. I wondered why a lizard would lie dead out of nowhere on that place, and I didn't remove the body at all for many days. I left it like that, let it decay there and go off. If you notice, the body started decaying. Day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5, I noticed that the body is completely decayed. However, the tail is still looking absolutely alive. Okay? The tail is absolutely alive. Not moving, but it is looking fresh. It has not got damaged at all. It will not look like it belongs to the lizard's body at all. Of course, there are scientific explanations for that, blood vessels and all that. Let's not get into that. Let's get into where I was sitting and what I was meditating on. If you try to hit a lizard that is alive, first thing it will do is it will drop its tail and run, because it can regrow its tail. That tail is your answer to spirituality also. The moment something deep is about to hit you, do not drop your spirituality and run around. That tail is your spirituality. The lizard is dead, but still the tail has not decayed. The body has completely gone. It became flat. The skin has become just a mere rubber kind of a thing, and there is nothing left in it. The tail is still having the same color the lizard was on day 1, and it took much longer for the tail to decay and get disintegrated. However, if the lizard is alive and if some kind of problem hits the lizard will first shed its tail and run away. What is the answer to this? Stop shedding your tail. The tail is your spirituality. When life is throwing something at you, think spiritually, connect your Jiva to the higher self. The Jiva is the one that has already gone. Lizard is dead 10 days back, but the tail is still around. That is the answer. If the lizard's body is here and it will decay, but the tail apparently is already in its 3rd or 4th life. So listen to the tail. Stop dropping the tail and running away. So spirituality, hold it. You climb on spirituality and look at everything. Go into the higher self and look down at your body. Okay, this is me. If I do these things, these sort of karma will come, these sort of things will come, these sort of wife, these sort of kids, everything he's talking. What you do is you shed the tail and you think with the body, because the body is running away, the tail will come back later. Yes, of course, when you're comfortable again, the tail will grow. However, the tail is the answer. The tail is your jiva. That is already in 200, 300, 400 years of birth later. So, the moment sadhana starts, look, 1 year later also, even if you put 10 days of sadhana, it is like 100 days progressed. Your jiva has progressed, which means 100 days of Bhairava sadhana that your body does. The body is just growing 100 years. However, the jiva has gone into 1000 days, which is how many years? Now, will you listen to that jiva that already knows 1000 days later what is going to happen in your life? Or will you listen to the body that's just 100 days old? That is the kind of mindset you need to have when you look at Bhairava sadhana and listen to your own higher self. It is talking to you. Realize this. Stop trying to continuously, like the lizard running away, dropping spirituality and thinking with the body. Lizard thinks it is very safe. However, it does not know that the day it dies, the tail is still alive and it is not even decaying. It is really surprising to me. How beautifully, and we tend to call the lizard Gauri. And the lizard sound is considered auspicious. Looks like there is some deep meaning in the lizard and its tail. So when trouble comes, don't drop your spirituality, your sadhana, and run, make your decision with your body that you still have. Make your decisions with the spirituality, because spirituality is much older than you. Your jiva is much older than you. It can see everything. You are not allowing it to talk. The body feels some urge, some physical urges when searching for a partner. Don't let that urge decide. Put that urge into the jiva. Let the jiva decide. Everything the jiva is talking to you. You're not hearing. You're continuously using this ear. Stop using this ear. The one that is here. Let that decide about your decisions in life. So Bhairava sadhana is complete breakdown of Brahma's design. Like I told you, it is into 100, into 1000 kind of a thing. Connect to your higher self, because every day you put in is 10 days in advance. So if you're sitting in sadhana for 1 day, your jiva has already progressed 10. Now 10 days later, what is going to happen? The jiva already knows. So listen to it. That is Bhairava sadhana. I think this is a very long video and I'm done. Bhairava Kalike Namostute.